Welcome to Expedient Means with Lin A. Wei on Time Monk Radio. Lin currently resides in China and is the founder and head teacher of Guaijian Philocultural Society. He has extensive experience in Buddhist and Taoist meditation, Qigong, martial arts, and traditional Chinese medicine. To learn more about Lin, please visit his website at www.guizhenhui.net. Tonight our topic will be Spirit and Soul, the continual search inside a metaphor.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Lin.
Hey now.
All right, so the continual search inside a metaphor, are you just trying to confuse people, or are you feeling particularly malicious today?
A little bit of both.
All right, so spirit and soul, they're the same thing, right?
Well, I mean, some would want to argue that you have to cultivate to get your spirit. The soul is a low-level manifestation of the spirit, or is before the spirit. So let's just try to break down this whole situation without going into the usual nomenclature of things.
All right, break it down.
Basically, we often see in spiritually focused books, words like soul and spirit. Throughout history, many great thinkers and cultivators touched on the ideas of a soul with a body. Statements like, we live with our body, or the soul is within us, is very, very all too familiar. Many spent their whole lives believing notions and concepts about the soul spirit, and have built quite a nice construct of what it means and how it functions. And of course, most of the ideas are founded on the sensing of a higher power within. But within where, you ask? Well, you didn't ask, but I'm asking for you. Within the body, as is stated almost in every book and lecture on the spirit. It's in the body. The functions of this higher power within are what is mostly sensed by a person and then translated in various types of ways, thus constituting there being a soul spirit within the body, whose power is limitless, inexhaustible, and extremely inconceivable. Dun, dun, dun. Where does the soul reside within the body? Many would say it inside every nook and cranny of the body itself. Some may point to the heart, some point to the head, but it doesn't matter which part of the body they point to. The fact of the idea is that almost everyone can agree that the soul is within the body in some place or in every place of the body.
No, that's crazy. It's in the pineal gland. Everybody knows that.
I thought it was in the butt.
Some people, yeah, I think so.
We come across notions that doing good acts nourishes the soul and loving acts empower the soul. As well, we're all too familiar with ideas that state doing evil harms the soul. And no matter what word is used to describe spirit soul, most of the ideas about it being inconceivable and limitless, undying, etc., 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 are indeed true. Yet, what exactly is what we call this soul, this spirit? For thousands of years, people have labeled that high energy of the body, spirit. They've built ways of thought, lifestyles, and religions with this idea of a spirit within the body, who indeed goes to another world or realm after the body's death.
So hold on now.
Okay.
How would say the chakras or the chakra or the dantians correlate to the spirit or soul? Are they part of it, or are they part of the physical body, or are they a bridge between the two, or are all these things just delusions in one's mind?
Let's continue with this talk, okay? No, I'm kidding. Trying to avoid your question here. Kidding.
and could you answer it in 5 words or less?
Let's see which 5 words I want to use. Clean. I think this is a family show, so I can't really go with the dirty words.
Use as many words as you want.
Well, basically, the chakras, they're not gateways, they're not bridges, they're not channels into the soul from the body, or from the soul spirit to the body. They are energetic constructs of when these energies are together, helps it to work with, coincide, manifest. I mean, the body is an energetic construct, and all energetic constructs have its makeup and things within it to magnify its abilities, its powers. Not powers like moving things across the room or levitating and stuff like that. I mean, just put it this way, another metaphor would be you have a river, and all of a sudden, some ways down the river, rocks fall into it and impede its flow. Okay? Eventually, if you strengthen enough, you can push those impediments away, and or you can figure out ways to go around it or over it. With the body, energetically, it's a manifestation of the mind, and thus, as the spirit or this spirit and body are together, as in one piece, you need tools in which to make things harmonious working. So you have specific tools like organs in the body, which vibrate at a specific level and manifest a function. They're not gateways to anywhere. They are pools of energy that oversee, or you can say manage, specific functions that the body has on that burst of energy at conception.
Yeah, could you repeat that in English?
Just rewind and contemplate. Rewind the video and contemplate.
All right. Fair enough.
Well, look, I mean, we have machinery that can measure our energy, so we can use our modern technology to help out. Any scientists want to do that, please? With our technology and science, we can look deep within the human body and around it and see that there is indeed something in and out, which is truly intelligent, too. We can say we have found a spirit soul of humans then. Can we? No, why not? Why can't we do that? If we did so for thousands of years without technology, why can't we do it now with technology? How can those sages in the past, these yogis, sit there and know that there was energetic spots, centers of this body that helped to influence the physical aspect of things? How did they see that without having a machine? Without a CAT scan? You know, how were they able to see that? Because they can see, because the mind is amazing, and the energy of our body is amazing, and our brain is amazing too. And when you can make that function at its higher percentages, there's a lot of things that can happen. You know, let's look at another idea. The human body, every sentient being, has a charge of energy, or an electrical force which powers the body. It's said that when the body dies, that electrical force, that energy goes back where it comes from. Where does it come from?
The Tao.
From Mars? It comes from the Tao. Yeah, that's what we call it. It's also said that the energy of a person, the soul essence, it goes to heaven or hell and remains there, or goes to various other realms in order to live out its karmic cycle. The idea of energy moving about here and there is indeed true, yet we should question whether or not this energy indeed goes to other realms to fulfill any other type of duty. With scientific finding, that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Energy can't be created nor destroyed. We can investigate the idea of a soul going here and there, traveling after physical death at any place it's supposed to be going. I mean, it won't stop. All this energy, everything has been always here. So what the hell is this consciousness, right?
This gets into the question too, and you're probably gonna hate me.
Oh man!
But so
we have a long friendship.
Say when the soul or spirit goes to the hell realm, is it an actual realm in and of itself, separate from the mind and soul and spirit, or is it actually contained within one's own mind, soul, spirit?
Ooh, it's just like someone in another universe saying, does Earth really exist, or is it just some made-up, legend just to get people scared? When they go to Earth, they got to deal with faulty governments and politics, and I don't want to go there. No.
Well, it's more than that. It's like, and it's probably you're probably gonna boil it down to dualistic type thinking, but. Do these things exist in and of themselves, or do they only exist within one's own mind, soul, and spirit?
Awesome. Use is awesome. Nice question. and you know me very well. It's likeness. Energy, likeness attracts like. So energy goes to where it's similar, vibration. You're not going to go to a pub down the street unless you like doing that. So this energy goes to where it can find its similar vibration. Perhaps the vibration is a high vibration of feeling really terrible, or maybe it's a high vibration of feeling very joyful. It's going to go to those places. That energy is like, oh man, it just like a battery just throws out a specific charge of energy, or you have a direct current of electricity in the house, and you put it to something else that uses alternate current, or you have a 220 voltage and you put it to a 110. Like I have my speakers for my computer I brought from America over here, and I plug it into a wall, and boom, the whole thing starts smoking. It doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work now, but the likeness, the way it could have functioned didn't work with the 220. So our energy is the same way. It goes to what is relatively matched. Yes, it is dualistic on that level. That's why when we cultivate, we're trying to break away from that so we can maintain, or we can return, or can manifest that kind of free will, that kind of freedom to come and go as we please. So if the vibration of a state of the energy of a being disperses from the body at death, it will indeed merge with its similar vibration. Just for the sake of saying merge, for lack of a better term, but there are observances in cultivation and meditation that show this energy to disperse and recollect itself according to its level of vibration. So it is vibrational. That means it's relative. And that's why in cultivation, we want to go through that. We want to be able to piece together or gather and keep that essence vibrating at a very high level so it doesn't disperse and doesn't go on a 1-ton journey through different states of its vibration, different states of energy, which we say in English or in any language in our world, different realms. So there could be a universe that's totally upside down, or a dimension that's totally upside down. And we just are in that dimension. It can be here in our body, or it can be outside of our body. But then, just for the sake of saying in and out, I'm just using that. Because truth, if you didn't have a body, would you even be talking about a mind? We consider that we can talk about a mind because we have this body and we can contemplate, we can intellectualize. So we consider that intellectualization and that rational logistical thinking to be minding, to be having mind to do it. But in truth, take out that body. What is there?
So this goes back to that old question. Is the mind created by the brain, or is the mind something separate?
Right, and we're not going to know that until we get out of the brain, which is what we're saying. How do we get out of the brain? What the hell does that mean? Well, our whole body is full of nerves, and our whole entire existence, from conception all until we're in 6 feet under or burned up, in cremation, we are basing our whole entire world upon our senses. Okay? Our 6 senses. Our contemplative sense, our mind. And then our physical senses. And those things are matched with our nervous system. And our brain is so friggin' amazing that whatever we see, whatever we experience with our senses, all 6 of them, the body creates receptors for those things. The more receptors we have, the more we have the things we are receiving in our lives. If you change those receptors by habit, then you also change what you put out. You change what you are liking. You change what you do. You change how you think.
So, for instance, if you, say, crave drugs or something, and then you start taking a lot of drugs, you're, I guess, empowering those receptors that are going to make you want to continue that cycle.
Yes. By the mind conceiving that this is good for you, or this is what you need or like, you create up notions based on the actions you do and the experiences you get from those actions. Okay, you create receptors for those things and you continue the same thing over and over again, so much so that when you're dead physically, that vibration of energy is attracted to that same thing, unless there is some other full-on force that takes over and pushes it out of the way or stifles it for a while. That's why reincarnation, being reborn as specific things, is very trivial, because it can be almost anything. And the only way to know that is to know what's in that mind.
Even that would sort of empower the hungry ghosts too, right? Like if they have too much attachments to, whatever, then that energy is going to sort of carry on even after death.
Yes, because there is no death. It's just transforming. And of course we know this, it's just transformation. Okay. Yeah, but people, when they die, they're still like, I don't want to transform. You know? It's like, I don't want to change. I don't want to let go. But this is all construct of the mind. This is all what you've developed. And the brain helps you do that. Actually, if you want to play video games with your brain, you can do that without even touching the video game controls.
That's awesome, because you can win every time.
Pretty much. What I'm saying is that once we understand how the brain, influences the body and how our mind influences the body, then we understand how these things get put together and our world is created the way we experience it. So this tells us that all our notions and everything we do is a whole bunch of crock.
A whole bunch of crock?
A whole bunch of crock. I wanted to say something else, but I know kids are listening to this show. It's really empty. It's really... all these views we have of ourselves being a specific way, that's our own construct because we want to survive. Going back to that vibration, some of the vibration is fitting with the vibrational manifestation of animals and sea life. This is basically like reincarnation stuff, okay? Everything goes to where its likeness is. So some of that energy is fitting for the vibration of different dimensions. We just talking about this, and the energy of living beings is indeed limitless and boundless, but it isn't just living beings that have this energy. Inanimate objects have the energy as well. We see them as unmoving, but in truth, their atoms are moving at vibrations which allow the physical illusion of it being still to remain the more obvious of its manifestations. So what we have now is this energy which leaves the physical body at death and disperses to all directions, only to come together again with its like vibration. This like vibration may be in any dimension, physical manifestation, or any place it will be.
So when this energy scatters, could you say, and maybe you'll hate this question again, but could say my energy that I had, could it scatter and become like 3 or 4 life forms? Could I become like a starfish, a fox, and a seagull at the same time?
Because if all that energy was still together, then you being born into a starfish would be a very highly intelligent starfish that knows a whole bunch of shit and can talk to sharks when they're passing by. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You can talk.
Okay, so that energy could manifest simultaneously, though, in say 3 different entities.
Yes. A good observation would be wolf packs, pods of dolphins. Groups of different animals sticking together, the likeness of their energy and how similar they can be with each other. And not just because they're animals and that's their animalistic nature. No, they have individualistic behaviors too. I think we were talking about this before, that when we see animals, especially dogs and cats, because we're very fond of dogs and cats, as friends, not as food. They're friends, not food. That you look at some dogs in the eyes and you see that, wow, it's like I can see their spirit. They look very wise. This is an old soul. Or this animal is very human-like. It has human qualities. They understand what I'm saying. It's not just because we raise them that way. It's because much of their wisdom, much of their essence is together. But when it's 100% together, the greatest manifestation for it to be with, as it being 100% put together, is a human. But even that human, with a human body, that 100% being together may not be 100%. It just has enough of itself together that it can be manifest in a human body. Sometimes people look like they're half a person. They walk in the street all dull and stupefied. Okay, look like zombies because they don't have their wisdom all. They don't have that energy, that essence, that spirit in them 100%. So they're a little dull.
So, all right, this might sound like another bit of a crazy question. But
I think our whole show is off the wall, man.
It's kind of a crazy one, but it's fun. I've heard it said before that in, say, the earlier stages of the Earth, when there's, not billions of people, but maybe millions of people, that the energetic quality, or the say the energetic quality of the people was higher at that point. Now that we're at the stage where we have multiple billions of people, some of the lower level energetic life forms are manifesting on Earth. Do you think there's any truth to that, or do you think that's crazy talk?
There is a story I'm reminded of, and I believe it was the Buddha talking with his son. And the question was about reincarnating into human bodies and whatnot. And the Buddha grabbed some sand off the floor, and he said, "Look at all the sand coming out of my hand. That's how many people are losing their human bodies. Look at all the sand around us. That's all the people who haven't had their human bodies, or, are not getting it yet. And look in the palm of my hand, how much still have it." So it's very, very precious. It's very precious. It's a very good tool for cultivation. That's why you get it. But now we think, there's 6 billion plus people on this planet. Could it be that they're just, dull? Many are dull, and they don't have all their energies together. Well, just for the sake of saying energies and pieces and all that stuff, we're using them as just expedients to explain something. It's not that it is just that way. You can say that many do have the merit to have a human body, that they do have that energetic catalyst to have a human body, that likeness energy to attract them into creating such a body. Doesn't mean that, they're wonderful. They're well off because they have a human body. Whether it's poor, or whether it's rich, whether it's being blown up, or whether it's living and going to a coffee shop every afternoon. They just have a human body. So having millions of people on the Earth, it's not that the energy can be exhausted, and having just a few million and the energy is stronger. Overall, less people, there is less garbage floating around the air, less energy being thrown, less outflows thrown all over the place, less influence on people so profoundly. Now, when you have 6 billion plus on the planet, you have more things influencing everybody's energetic field and the environments around you. So everybody is influencing everyone. So there is a lot of muck.
A little more chaotic.
Pretty much, but it has nothing to do with just the fact that there's over 6 billion people. It has everything to do with the lack of educating 6 billion people, or the lack of the majority of education. Or the educated.
All right, so I guess you wouldn't want to say then there's like higher and lower quality souls, right?
No, there is no such as there's no class status in the spirit. Sorry, it is not a bad interpretation of Confucianism in the spirit world.
Well, and it's like, they say some people can reach realization in a single incarnation, right?
Sure, because for other incarnations, they've been doing it so much that their energy is so full, and a lot of it is together, and that has been magnified. They've been doing it for so long. That's the likeness fact, that they've been doing it for so much that is exactly what is vibrating at such a high level for them. So that at this state, when they're here, all of a sudden, boom, they get it spontaneously, instantaneously. But before, they went their gradual way to build up until that one point.
So you were basically saying that somebody who was a starfish and then became a human probably wouldn't be realized right away, or,
I can't say that because who knows, maybe that starfish was just that incarnation for them to finish up and clean out some karma, and then all of a sudden they get into human life, cultivate, and bang, they become a Buddha. I don't know. That could be that way.
All right, I was just trying to trip you up anyway.
Well, like we were talking about here, we can say that some aspects of that energy with its like vibration at one point in time, and then dispersed from it and found another like vibration. It doesn't have to think to do it. It just does that. So why does it do that? Because of that habitual energy. We were just saying this before about that like energy being built up all the time for so long. The habit energy of partaking in similar vibration over many periods of time. So how is a habit formed? But by doing and thinking the same things over and over again. And how is it broken? But by changing the ideas of the activity over a period of time. So if someone has been being a nasty person for a hell of a long time, many moons on their lifetime, and then they decide they want to turn over a new leaf, and they do so, and the sincerity in doing so is unfounded, meaning that they just actually do so. It's a totally like different person that you see. They totally made a whole change, and they were able to do it because they had that like energy. They had the conditions. They had the seeds planted. They had the conditions for those things, and it met up now, and boom, they're able to change. We cultivate and look within. We are breaking the habits of energy, of having our energy go outward, go expending our energy. We eventually create the habit of inner investigation, which in turn causes us to quiet the mind and feel, hear, experience, awaken to the information of that is of the energy we've been calling the soul spirit for ages. That's why you sit. Because we don't want to hold the construct of there being something that is separate. Because then when we say spirit, then we go, there's the body, there's the spirit, and it's me. Now you're just putting a me on everything and a separation on everything else. It's also a construct of the ego to label these things. So therefore the brain creates receptors for that, and it strengthens the area of the brain that goes for survival. You need a me in order to survive. No me, there's no survival. That's the concept. That's the false notion. But in truth, there is no such thing as a me. We use that because we don't know anything else yet.
So the body, soul, and spirit, these separations are just totally illusion, right?
Yes, sir. You ever hear stories of yogis who can just disappear and then reappear?
Yogi Bear with the picnic basket?
Oh, yeah.
You can make a picnic basket disappear. No, I'm just kidding.
Yogis put in jail because they walk around naked and then just walk through the jail cell and go back out in the street naked just to get arrested again. And they're like, why you keep doing this? And he said, because at least I got a place to live at night. I mean, come on. When the physical body dies, it dies. Where does our energy go? It just goes. And then it doesn't go. Okay, but because then we ask the question about ghosts and spirits and whatnot. And then if there's spirits and then there's spirit and soul, what is the difference between these three? You got spirits being ghosts, and what is a ghost, spirit, and soul? Okay. There are different vibrational levels of the same thing, just like you have different levels of intellect or intelligence within humans. Thus, it is similar with ghost, spirits, spirit of the human body. Okay, you have ghosts, which is just your energy being very yin, being very in that expression of not so nice over a long period of time, and then that's just where it goes into ignorance. It goes into anger and goes into greed. Then you have yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. This no, I know. This sort of reminds me of one of the high level Taoist practices I read about, where you essentially gather up enough energy that you can create multiple, I don't know how to say this, but multiple incarnations or multiple spirit bodies, and then they send them out to different realms, and all these spirit bodies. Yeah, and then these all cultivate simultaneously and return to the body or return to the one.
You can say that you can take your energy, after being cultivated so much, extend it outward, creating a form that others can see, in which you can influence, and or if they can't see, you can still have it as an influence. It's really just strength of your energy, the concentration ability of the mind to be able to do such things. You have to break constructs of the senses in order to do that. If you are still tied down by the senses, it's very difficult to do it. So, in such, You can do that.
How do I know I'm not one of those right now?
Right? It goes back to Zhuangzi saying, I dreamt of a butterfly, but was the butterfly dreaming of me? You know?
Yeah.
Perhaps. Who knows?
That was a terrible rendition of the saying, by the way.
Yeah. I cut it up really quickly, though. When we look within, right, we get images sometimes of things we never saw in our current lifetime. The images could be from a number of places, times, and or feelings we had acquired in this lifetime and perhaps in others. Hence, we do not chase after an image or a state as a cultivator, and or feelings. It's interesting how the Buddha stated that an image of the Buddha didn't even look like a Buddha at all. When one person made an image of the Buddha, it's like, look, I made the image of you, and I made an image of the Buddha. The Buddha don't look like that. Yes, it does. Who said the Buddha looks like that? Break it. It's disgusting. It's like there's no such thing as a Buddha looking like that, because a Buddha is everything, everyone. It can be everyone. Everyone can be a Buddha. Everyone is, but they don't realize it. And just to say I am doesn't mean you realize it, because damn it, if you are... You have the 5 eyes and the 6 spiritual penetrations. You know all the constructs of this teachings. And a lot of people saying I'm very enlightened. There's different states of enlightenment too. So,
is there any type of experiment, like thought experiment or physical experiment, somebody could do to prove to themselves that the body, mind, and spirit are all one?
Cultivate non-separation, non-discrimination.
No, an easier way, Lynn.
Like
something
LSD.
you could. Wasn't the answer I expected, but I'm gonna give you. I'll give you 2 points for it.
Hell yeah, you can get it, but it won't last. Some people can get it, and boom, they stuck in that. Some people get insight from it, but it's not, okay, quote unquote, permanent, because you got to cultivate. You got to do the work to get there. You can't just sit there and the writing on the wall, you can't get out.
Yeah.
So we have this thing called spirit, our energy of the body, our essence that makes this physical body do and be as it is. It leaves this physical body at death and goes wherever it is to go, which is really in no direction whatsoever, and manifests according to its vibrational charge it is most accustomed to, and let's call that accustoming karma.
Accustoming karma, okay.
Not accustoming karma, we'll call that accustoming, quote unquote, karma, quote, end quote. Open quote, karma, end quote, karma. So I'll repeat that again. It really goes in no direction whatsoever and manifests according to the vibrational charge it is most accustomed to, and that accustoming we will call karma. So the Buddha spoke of no self, but sentient beings seem to have a problem with this no identity concept. What the Buddha is saying perhaps was, hey, it's not that there is no soul, but it's that there is no identifying one with the energy that functions as it does relatively. Maybe that idea is a bit too much for most, but he's just saying that we put a head on top of a head when we begin to conceptualize something that is truly boundless and limitless, neither here nor there. So why create notions about something just so you can try to understand, when all you need to do is inward investigation of your mind and literally see for yourself. All in quotes. Mind, see, yourself, all in quotes.
Yeah, I was going to say some of these words can screw people up if they sort of think about it in the wrong way, right?
Yes,
I guess,
you're
you're
always
limited.
do the quote unquote.
Yeah, you're limited with what you can communicate via words or language or what have you, right?
It's not that the wording is limited, it's the use of the wording which can be limited. Therefore, we have to be very cautious on how the context is we are employing. What is the context we are using? You see, when I say quote unquote, it's really to let you know I'm just saying that just for the sake of having this conversation to display or put out this type of idea. It's best to always investigate by inward investigation, self-reflection, meditation, cut out the senses by just letting yourself sit and focus on one thing, and then you break through. After you break through, then a person would say, yes, that's why there was quoting and unquoting in all of Expedient means talks. It was kind of getting annoying, but now I understand, because they're expedient means. They are means to get the teachings, just to get the teachings out. And then there's the actual direct teachings. If I was to sit there and just put in direct teaching, people would sit there and go, this is ridiculous. I don't even want to sit there doing it.
Well, it's kind of like you could sit there and you could explain to someone what Peking duck tastes like. You could write all about it. You could write 1,000 books. You could explain every nuance, all the spices that are used. But until someone's actually tasted Peking duck, they don't really know what it is, right?
Right. You can make scratch and sniff books, too.
Scratch and sniff Peking duck.
What I'm trying to say, basically, in this whole thing, is that regardless of if there's a soul or spirit, cultivate. Regardless if there's a soul or spirit, because thinking about there being an afterlife or a forelife, past life, or dimensions where we go to, or heaven or hell, which is a trivial investigation, because we can make constructs in our mind and start believing whatever visions we get when we're trying to contemplate them. Why do that? This is why the Buddha said, see the Buddha in the road, you kill the Buddha. See a demon in the road, you kill the demon. I mean, you just totally cut out all these types of things that pop up, because how can you trust your mind if you don't even know where it is?
I have a question for you.
Oh, man.
It's kind of a weird one, but why do people associate heaven with the sky or above and the hells with beneath or below? Does it have to do with heaven and earth? Like the hells would have a denser vibration, so therefore they'd be more earthbound?
Oh, this is so cool. That's not a weird question. That's a really good damn question. Because a part of the heaven, this energetic construct of a heaven, is proportioned slightly within our world system. Hence, we look up because we can't see the moon by looking at the ground.
So heaven's in the moon?
No, you don't see that. I'm saying is that a portion of the heavens that were, I'll just going to speak very loosely about it. And I think earlier on in our conversations, in the beginning of our recordings back in 2013, we spoke a little bit about these things. Portion of the heavens, a small portion of the heaven, is based on our world. Hence, there are 4 kings in 4 directions that guard, and it's influencing our planet as well. It's not that the heavens just decide that the beings in the heavens decide they want to go and influence, or the beings in the hells want to influence. We look up because that's the portion that is in our world. The hells, why we look down? Because we can't see them, and we can't look up and see the heavens, but we see the heavens are there. As I said, I speak very vaguely and loosely about it.
I'll give you a C- on that answer.
Bite me. But basically, we are always stuck on there being, my spirit is free spirit, and I'm all this and I'm all that in spirit. But understand that any past life and any future life is all in the mind ground. And where this mind ground is not some etheric place floating around somewhere we gotta find. It's not in this etheric place in our body we gotta find. It's a physical manifestation called the body. And the mind ground, which holds all the seeds of all the things all the views that we have, and all the sensations we chase, and all the constructs of a self we make, and all our ideas and constructs of consciousness that we have. It's there in this body too. I will call it the mind ground being our nervous system, because it's a physical manifestation of our energetic vibration. So if we can work from that, therefore cultivating the house would be cultivating the body, cultivating the mind, because it's all together. The mind creates the body. The mind creates all things. Whatever you think you can make, whatever you assume, will manifest for you. So, you go into the mind. What am I most attracted to? What am I most repelled from? What do I like having around? What's enjoyable to me? What's not enjoyable to me? These things are in your body. These things are around your body. We attract them, we repel them. We have the receptors to take the things that we're used to, and we have the receptors to not take the things that we're used to, because those receptors aren't enough. Some people like to smoke. Some people like to drink coffee. Some people assume watching certain movies are entertaining while others don't, because they have receptors for those things because of what they were influenced as children. And what that energy, when their parents were doing their thing and then the conception thing happened, what energy those parents had to push in, okay, what energy from the mother and the father were there that were the catalyst to make the conception force happen. Okay, so these things are all influential. So when we're cultivating, we want to check out what the hell those things were. So most people are sitting there going, oh, I have visions of past life. Really? Perhaps it was your parents. Perhaps it was a movie you saw when you were 1 year old. Perhaps it was something you heard of when you were in the womb. Perhaps it was part of your mother's energy and part of your father's energy, creating that big combustion of conception that influenced your nervous system. That's why breaking down to purity means cutting out everything, all up to that point of conception. What is your face before you were born? This is where we're unveiling. This is what we're unveiling. So when I'm talking about this metaphor called spirit and soul, I'm really saying throw it out. Forget the idea of a spirit and soul, because it just creates more obstruction, more labeling, and more of an I, this overall universal I, this God self. If we understood the construct, the vibrational construct of a God, then maybe not. We're not all gods. Okay, look, a dog is not a human. But they can say, if a dog can talk and you can listen to a dog say, we're all the same. I have this great energy, this great spirit within, and it is human-esque. And us humans say we are God-esque. We are like gods, this overall wonderful God. And we're all gods in a human body. And what about the people who are crazy lunatics? They're all devils in a human body? So then there's separation on the spiritual realm? This is ridiculous. There's vibration on the spiritual realm because everything is a vibration. Look, when I was young, my sister, my teacher, she had taught me how to attract things I wanted. And this is way before The Secret came out. So when I hear The Secret and people talk about it, that method, I say, yeah, but there's missing something. It's missing am I really supposed to have this stuff? It's missing that internal investigation. Right. So I learned how to actually do this stuff, where it was I write what I want and then I burn the thing, never bother with it again. And then I realized that I don't go off the path of what I know I would like to have in my life. Thus, I create the conditions to actually have those things. There it goes again. Like attracts like. And when you get opposition while you're getting the things you're getting, maybe it's not opposition, but an empowerment. Maybe it's a practice. Maybe it's just the things you need to experience because you're looking for something.
Yeah, this secret, again, it's kind of a side issue, but that whole secret business can be dangerous because, like, it could just multiply your delusions. You think you want $1 million, then you somehow manifest that, then you become a drug addict. You know what I mean? What you think you want or not is not necessarily what you should have at all.
Yes, and you can even just get the things you want, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't have it when you lose it. It just means that you don't have the energetic vibration, what we call in our terms maturity or responsibility to deal with those things. You don't have the wisdom to deal with those things. Okay, when I wanted a different specific experience in my life, I look at it and I contemplate the possibilities of it happening. If there's the slightest possibility, I will nourish it. And I have to accommodate, the lifestyle to attract such situations to my life. And when there's people who come across who are totally ignorant fools, who try to throw monkey wrenches in the clockworks here, I look at the different ways on how to not get past it, but how to work with it. So they're not obstacles unless you get too tired and frustrated with the time of how things play out.
You're not talking about my crazy questions, are
you? You really know me, don't you? But basically, this whole thing is really get off the idea of a soul spirit, because it just deludes, it just closes you up, even though it's still the concept of freedom. What we're looking at is go back in. You have one, fine. It doesn't matter if you did or not, because it's energy. It's this really great boundless thusness, that wonderful, neither here nor there mannerism of all things. And it's not exclusive. It's all inclusive.
Why don't we end it on that note?
Oh, yeah.
All right, and to close with, I'm going to actually read the proper passage from Chuang Tzu that you butchered earlier. Once upon a time, I dreamt I was a butterfly fluttering hither and thither, to all intents and purposes a butterfly. I was conscious only of my happiness as a butterfly, unaware that I was myself. Soon I awakened, and there I was, veritably myself again. Now I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or whether I am now a butterfly dreaming I am a man.
There you go.
Dun 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 dun. Nice. Anyhow, thank you everybody for listening. Be sure to join us next week, and we will discuss something next week. Yet self-conflicting views
of the self.
Self-conflicting views of the self, selfishly, self-centered. All right, thanks again, Len.
Peace and happiness.
All right, that's a wrap.
Oh yeah.